Okay. We'll start with the prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaya Kadamahyam Dadanti Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hariharaya Namah, Krishnaya Yadavaya Namaha, Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha, Hariharaya Namah, Krishna Yadavaya Namaha, Yadavaya Madhavaya Govindaya Namaha, Sri Krishna Hari Bol, Gopala Hari Bol, Radha Ramana Govinda Hari Bol. Shri Krishna Hari Bol, Gopala Hari Bol, Radha Ramana Govinda Hari Bol. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva. Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Shri Shri Radha Govind ki jai. Welcome you all to the level 2 class of the Bhagavad Gita, and today we are going to continue about the chapter 16 part 2. Okay, majority we have covered yesterday, but yesterday when I was discussing about the divine as well as the demonic qualities and little bit about the Varnashrama Dharma, recently in our Bhakti Vaibhava class we were reading one what do you say purport about the Varnashrama Dharma. I thought we'll just have a quick reading of that and then we will proceed with the class. Hare Krishna. Uh, yeah. I wanted please the devotee volunteers to read. Any one of you. Yeah, I'll read the sloka. Purusha Swabhava Vihitan Yatha Varnam Yatashramam Vairagyara Gopadibhyam Atma sorry. Amnato Bhaya Lakshanan. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Translation. At Maharaja Yudhishthira's inquiry, Bhishmadev first defined all the classification of castes and orders of life in terms of the individual qualifications. Then he systematically in twofold divisions described counteraction by detachment and interaction by attachment. Purport: the conception of four castes and four orders of life, as planned by the Lord Himself, Bhagavad Gita 4.13, is to accelerate transcendental qualities of the individual person so that he may gradually realize his spiritual identity and thus act accordingly to get free from material bondage or conditional life. In almost all the Puranas, the subject matter is described in the same spirit, and so also in the Mahabharata. It is more elaborately described by Bhishma Dev in the Shanti Parv, beginning from the 60th chapter. The Varnashram Dharma is prescribed for the civilized human being just to train him to successfully terminate human life. Self realization is distinguished from his life of the lower animals engaged in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. Bhishmadev advised for all human beings 9 qualifications. First, not to become angry. Second, not to lie. Third, to equally distribute wealth. Fourth, to forgive. Fifth, to beget children only by one's legitimate wife. Six, to be pure in mind and hygienic in body. Seven, not to be inimical towards anyone. Eight, to be simple. And nine, to support servants or subordinates. One cannot be called a civilized person without acquiring the above mentioned preliminary qualities. Beside
Hare
these,
Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So these are the basic qualifications one must possess. Why I made you read this, that these are the basic ones. Apart from that, whether you are a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, whatever, whichever Varna you belong to, whichever ashrama you belong to. But these 9 qualities are must for anyone to be called as a human being. So these, actually we should meet these first, then we can go for the Varnashrama Dharma. Yes. Prabhu, you can continue or anybody else can continue. It's up to you.
Now, beside these, the Brahmanas, the intelligent men, the administrative men, the mercantile community, and the laborer class must acquire special qualities in terms of occupational duties mentioned in all the Vedic scriptures. For the intelligent men, uh, controlling the senses is the most essential qualification. It is the basis of morality, sex, indulgence, even with legitimate wife must also be controlled, and thereby family control will automatically follow. An intelligent man abuses his great qualifications if he does not follow the Vedic way of life. This means he must seriously make a study of the Vedic literatures, especially of the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. For learning Vedic knowledge, one must approach a person who is saint person engaged in devotional service. He must not do things which are forbidden in the Shastras. A person cannot be a teacher if he drinks or smokes. In the modern system of education, the teacher's academic qualification is taken into consideration without evaluation of his moral life. Therefore, the result of education is misuse of high intelligence in so many ways. The Kshatriya,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji.
We will give opportunity to other people also.
Yes, yes.
Anybody else wanted to read? Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna Mataji.
Prashant Prabhu, you can read first. I think then Shweta Mataji will follow.
Okay Mataji. Hare Krishna.
The Kshatriya, the member of the administrative class, is especially advised to give charity and not to accept charity in any circumstances. Modern administration raise subscriptions for some political functions, but never gives charity to the citizens in any state function. It is just the reverse in the injunctions of the Shastra. The administrative class must be well versed in the Shastras, but must not take to the profession of teachers. The administrators should never pretend to become non-violent and thereby go to hell. When Arjuna wanted to become a non-violent coward on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was severely chastised by Lord Krishna. The Lord degraded Arjuna at that time to the status of an uncivilized man for his avowed acceptance of the cult of non-violence. The administrative class must be personally trained in military education. Cowards should not be elevated to the presidential throne by dint of numerical votes only. The monarchs were all chivalrous personalities, and therefore monarchy should be maintained provided the monarch is regularly trained in the occupational duties of a king. In fighting, the king or the president should never return home without being hurt by the enemy. The so-called king of today never visits the battlefield. He is very much expert in artificially encouraging the fighting strength in the hope of false national prestige. As soon as the administrative class is turned into a gang of mercantile and laborer men, the whole machinery of government becomes polluted. The Vaishya, the Vaishyas, the member of the mercantile community are especially advised to protect the cows. Cow protection means increasing the milk production, namely curd and butter. Agriculture and distribution of the foodstuff are the primary duties of the mercantile community, backed by education in Vedic knowledge and trained to give in charity. As the Kshatriya were given charge of the protection of the citizen, Vaishyas were given the charge of the protection of animals. Animals are never meant to be killed. Killing of animal is a symptom of barbarian society for a human being. Agriculture uh,
Fruit and milk are sufficient and compatible foodstuff.
and compatible foodstuff. The human society should give more attention to animal protection. The productive energy of the laborer is misused when he is occupied by industrial enterprises. Industry of various types cannot produce the essential needs of man, namely rice, wheat, grains, milk, fruits, and vegetables. The production of machines and machine tools increases the artificial living passion of a class of vested interests and keeps thousands of men in starvation and unrest. This should not be the standard of civilization.
Hare
should I
Krishna.
should I continue
Hare
or
Krishna. Yeah, Shweta Mataji will read now.
okay?
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna everyone. The Shudra class is less intelligent and should have no independence. Sorry. They are meant for rendering sincere services to the three higher sections of the society. The Shudra class can attain all comforts of life simply by rendering service to the higher classes. It is especially enjoined that the Shudra should never bank money. As soon as the Shudras accumulate wealth, it will be misused for sinful activities in wine, women, and gambling. Wine, women, and gambling indicates that the population is degraded to less than Shudra quality. The higher castes should always look after the maintenance of the Shudras, and they should provide them with old and used garments. A Shudra should not leave his master when the master is old and invalid, and the master should keep the servant satisfied in all respects. The Shudras must first of all be satisfied by sumptuous food and clothing before any sacrifice is performed. In this age, so many functions are held by spending millions, but the poor laborer is not sumptuously fed or given charity, clothing, etc. The laborers are thus dissatisfied and so they make agitations. The
Agitate.
Varnas
Hare
agitate.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. So anybody else wanted to recite this last chapter, last paragraph? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
The Varnas are, so to speak, classifications of different occupations and Ashram dharma is gradual progress on the path of self realization. Both are interrelated and one is dependent on the other. The main purpose of ashram dharma is to awaken knowledge and detachment. The brahmachari dharma is the training ground for the prospective candidates. In this ashram, it is instructed that this material world is not actually the home of the living being. The conditioned souls under material bondage are prisoners of matter, and therefore self realization is the ultimate aim of life. The whole system of ashram dharma is a means of detachment. One who fails to assimilate the spirit of detachment is allowed to enter into family life with the same spirit of detachment. Therefore, one who attains detachment may at once adopt the fourth order, namely renounced, and thus live on charity only, not to accumulate wealth, but just to keep body and soul together for ultimate realization. Household life is for one who is attached, and the Vanprastha and Sannyas orders of life are for those who are detached from material life. The Brahmachari ashram is specially meant for training both the attached and detached. Hare Krishna
Hare,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I think this is just a brief overview about the Varnas as a little bit about the ashramas. So hope it is clear. Okay. So I really inspired with those nine qualities what Bhishma Deva has told, followed by the Varnashrama Dharma. So I think it's always better if we can imbibe those qualities in our day-to-day life for the spiritual progress. Hare Krishna. The text and verse is from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th chapter, 25th verse. Okay, what we have read now. Yeah. Anika chitta vibhranta mohajala samavrita prasakta kama bhogeshu patante narakesu chau. Thus perplexed by the various anxieties and bound by the network of illusions, one become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down to the hell. Okay. Prasakta kama bhogeshu patanti narakesucho. A demonic knows no limit and he has to his desire to acquire money. Again, the passionate people will run behind the money, behind the family, behind the attachments, and all illegal, illegitimate things and all they'll be including. So what all they are doing, again, it is um, uh, cause them the bondages to stay back in this earth, and because their soul is not satisfied with all this material manifestation, they come back to this planet at again to complete their cycle. Okay. What are the results of the demonic work? Okay. Perplexed by various anxieties, bound by the network of illusion, because they want this, they want money, they want land, they want a relationship, they want this, what not everything which is coming on to their senses, they wanted that. So likewise, all time anxiety and network of illusions, imagining things which are not there and all. Okay, it's not in Krishna consciousness, nothing to do with the Sattva guna. Okay, so it is all in the passion, and the passion to an extent, again, it is overwhelmed with many desires or which are been unfulfilled and all. Then again, it will go into the people lost their consciousness, then they'll become attached to it, anger, greed, lust, everything. Then there will be a fall down to the lower planets. So that becomes more. Isn't it? A person who has a small car will aim for a bigger car, and a person who is having a bigger car wanted a chopper. And likewise, there is no end to this. So the material enjoyment is the senses wanted more and more comforts for it enjoyment. So eventually, the more you are getting attached to all this material comforts and all, slowly we are moving away. Our focus is on the self, what do you say, the comfort, but not on serving the Lord. So this is taking away from service towards the Lord and more going towards the material possessions, which are all temporary. So our ultimate aim is to come back from all these things? That is possible only by practicing Krishna consciousness. So bound by network of hundreds and thousands of desires and illusions. Okay. Don't believe in promotion to the higher planetary system through performing yajnas. And they think they can create their own process of yajna and prepare machines to reach any higher planets. Example, Ravana's staircase to reach the heavenly planets without performing Vedic sacrifices. The illusion demon is caught in a mohajala. A net of illusion glide towards hell. A fish caught in a net has no means of coming out. So here the analogy is of that fish which has been caught in the net. Okay. Various examples, if you remember in little bit in third and more in fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, various examples are being given to different senses. Okay, the fish has been caught by putting a small fish in that and the food. That is the taste. And the moths are attracted towards the fire and they get killed. So if you wanted to, catch an elephant, then you make a big pit and see that the she elephant is following that and you will trap an elephant. Likewise, they will just, the sense organs will attract you towards the endangered situations and trap you into this illusion, and the Maya will take charge of troubling us. So we should never ever try to fall into all this illusionary situation. आत्मसंभाविता स्तब्धा धनामानामदान्विता यजन्ते नाम यज्ञैस्ते दम्भेना विधिपूर्वकम्. Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only without following any rules or regulations. So they say no, like a theoretical knowledge only in a book. So practically that will not come into picture. So some people do that. Okay. धनामानामदान्विता यजन्ते नाम यज्ञैस्ते दम्भेना विधिपूर्वकम्. So deluded by again the same thing, the demonic people perform so-called rites. This is especially the politicians. Nowadays you can see the election moment is many political parties, they come and they click a picture video with you and they post it in the social media. So all this, we are doing something out of expectation is said to be the mode of a passion. Okay. They become pretenders, preachers, misleading people as religious reformers or God incarnate. Again, many people, they try to teach impersonal bhakti. Okay. The difference between Krishna consciousness and the other thing which we have discussed in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So this bhakti yoga itself, the process itself, listening to the Vedic scriptures, chanting and following the regulative principles and doing certain activity for the Lord in a day, make us regulator, and it is very soul-filling. Whereas impersonal bhakti, many conditioning will be there that you have to constrain this, you have to refrain from this and all those things, and mind is puzzled to acquire all those things first, then concentrate upon the Lord. I'm not saying those people don't reach it, but it's a lengthier process. So there is always a chance of fall down. So likewise, many people, the siddhas, different people, they try to mislead, but the ultimate goal of a preacher is to make an individual realize the real purpose of the life by advising certain practices or make them connect to the soul-filling practices like chanting, reading, shravanam, and all those things. So that makes them see happy. Okay. So all of these important acts done in ignorance and illusion are considered avidhi purvakam, done disregarding the rules and regulations. Okay. So which is simply waste of time, because time lost will not come back. We should never try to indulge in any of these activities. being being self-complacent and imprudent, they are deluded by wealth and against the same thing which has been put in a pictorial form. So we should not waste our time and energies in certain things or certain practices which will not help us to what do you say, to connect with the Lord. Okay, we should refrain from all those things and directly involve in the service of the Lord. अहंकारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं स संश्रिता मामात्मा परादेहेषु प्रद्विषन्तो भ्या असूयखा. So bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust and anger, the demon becomes envious of Supreme Personality of the Godhead who is situated in his own body and the body of others and blasphemes against the real religion. So this particular picture is of a Shishupala Vadha. Okay, when Shishupala was born, he was born with several deformities, you know. He was not having a structured form as any neonate is having. Okay. And by seeing that, Shishupala mother was wondering like how someone will accept such a kid. So she was hiding the kid from all, and one day what happens is Lord Krishna will come and hold Shishupala in his hands, and he will become a normal person like a two hands, two legs, and very beautiful boy and all. So Shishupala mother understand that again it's the mercy of Lord Krishna that this child turned out to be a normal, and she also sensed that anybody who is going to kill or teach a lesson means it's all again the Krishna. So she will take a vow from Lord Krishna that you will forgive for his 100 mistakes. So beyond that, you don't forgive my child. Okay, Krishna says, okay, given. So, and from the very beginning, you know, Shishupala was very envious of Krishna and always used to insult him or do certain activity, because people who are not God conscious, they try to speak against the God or do the activities against the God. So likewise, he was also trying to insult him or envious of Krishna, and he became more envious when Rukmini's brother Rukmi, you know, he told Shishpala to marry Rukmini, but Rukmini wanted to marry Lord Krishna. So what she does is she will write a letter to Lord Shri Krishna saying that please abduct me from this place so that this marriage won't happen. And upon request by Rukmini Devi, Lord Krishna will abduct the Rukmini Mata and marry her. Okay, so when Shishupala come to know about him, he feels more envious about Krishna. Okay, so all those, the jealous, enviousness is accumulated in his mind. And this particular situation is from Yudhishthira Maharaja, Hastinapur, what do you say, the throne incarnate, after he get the Hastinapura throne, and also all those ceremonies were happening and all, where Lord Krishna was invited as a special chief guest. So when he come there and sit on the chair, so he was given all great upachara, because they are all great devotees of Lord Krishna, and Shishupala could not take that, and all the memory what he had about him, you know, how he has kidnapped Rukmini and many other previous incident and all were accumulated in his mind, and he started insulting him by saying all abusive words. So Krishna, you know, he was so generous and kind towards the devotees and all. He will tolerate all the insults, what all is been done by Shishupala. So till 100th sin. So the moment he utters 101 sin, Krishna releases his Sudarshan Chakra and behead the Shishupala. So again, the learning is that we should be as tolerant, and we should never go by false ego, and always be humble and think ourselves lower than what is it, the straw of a grass. So likewise, these qualities, if we inculcate, then it will help us to progress further in the bhakti. Okay. So here Shishupala will get, because of his own false ego, his own pride, his own lust and anger, whatnot, everything. So these are the negative quality traits which will kill a person. So very, what do you say, a great supreme personality of the Godhead. Krishna could not tolerate him. So generally, ordinary person like us, we find it very difficult. But uh, uh, what we can do is stay away from such people who are filled with the false ego, pride, and lust, greed, and anger. Okay, in that way we can play ourselves very safe and not on to escape part, but to safeguard ourselves and to keep up our practices. Okay, so when it becomes not bearable, then I think we should leave it to the Krishna. Bhyasuyaka, that is envious. So here the Shishupala was a great example for that. Demonic person is always envious of both the scriptures and existence of the Lord. He does not know that the present life is a preparation of the next life because they are under an illusion. If he has an enemy who might check the advancements of his sensual activities, he makes plan to cut him down by his own power. Okay. तनहं द्विषता क्रूरान् संसारेषु नराधमान् क्षिपामि अजस्रम् अशुभम् आसुरीव एव योनिषु. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among the men, are cast by me onto the ocean of material existence, onto the various demonic species of our life. So the amount of enviousness towards Krishna decides our next life. Okay. Placing a particular soil in a particular body is again, it's a order of a supreme lord, and demonic person not agreeing to accept the supremacy of the Lord will act whimsically, and Lord has his own plans to put that particular person, whether in the in 84 lakh species, he fit into one personality. Okay, but for sure, his next birth will be decided by the Lord only, but not by himself. So after the death of the soul, he is put into the womb of a mother and he gets particular type of a body under the supervision of the superior power. In material existence, there are so many species of life, that is insects, animals, men, and so on, all arranged by the superior power, but not by accidental. So demonic perpetually put into the wombs of demons continue to be the lowest of the mankind, being so lustful, violent, envious, hateful, and unclean continuous. Example, the hunters. So what life they will take on to the next janma, that will be decided by the Lord himself. Asurim yoni apanna muda janmani janmani mama prapraiva kaunteya tatho yanti adhamam gatim. So attaining repeated births among the species of demonic life, such persons can never approach me. See, gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. I can give you an example of a mirror, a clean mirror. So if you are cleaning a mirror every day, that remains clean. But we neglect it for a long, long time, the metallic chips which are being pasted in that will come out and it becomes so shady. So despite the repeated cleaning also, it will not shine and all. And uh, it's next to impossible for that mirror to be clean again. Similarly, the soul which is there inside, that need to be constantly being put clean by doing the clean practices which are prescribed for the mankind. If we are not doing that, automatically the dust will accumulate over it and it becomes very impossible, I can say, to have at least a normal life. So, first of all of you are fortunate, and I am fortunate enough that we are at least reading and listening about Krishna. So, there are many people who don't even get this opportunity and all. So, somewhere we get an opportunity to clean our souls by doing these practices. So, we should take this opportunity and try to use it for our betterment. Okay. Although God is all merciful, but is never merciful to the demonic. Example is Shishupala and example of Vali in Ramayana, Ravanasura in Ramayana, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, all those things. When they are doing certain practices which is not helpful for the mankind, definitely Lord will take a call to eliminate such people from this world. Okay. Every life, the demonic people are put in the wombs of similar demonic mothers without the mercy of Supreme Lords, go down achieving bodies of cats, dogs, and hawks. Such demons must have almost no chance of receiving the mercy of the God at any stage of later life. It is not that all the merciful Lord is not merciful to the demons. Lord Supreme has no hatred for anyone. Placing asuras or demons in the lowest status of life is simply another feature of his mercy. Okay, you can take an example of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. They were demons, isn't it? But somehow they got liberated. Again, depending on the enviousness, depending on your bad karma you accumulate towards the Lord, you will be given such a life in your next life. Okay, sometimes the killing of asuras by the Lord is a good for them as they get liberated. So, examples again is the Ravanasura, Hiranyakashipa, Hiranyaksha, all these people, they get killed in the hands of the Shishupala, all these people, they get killed. Okay, so again, the Lord personally killing them means, again, it's a merciful for them. So many asuras so the same examples which I have told you now. Okay. Because they are more ignorant, they are gliding towards the hell. The demonic nature. Trividam narakashidam dvaram nashanam atmana kamakroda satha lobha tasmade tatrayam tyajet. So again, lust, greed, and anger, these are the three gateways to the hell, and we just have to take a control of this. Otherwise, it will take us to the lower planet. Okay. Demonic life begins when one tries to satisfy the lust, which again the pleasing the senses. We should please the senses of the Lord, not our senses. When this is not satisfied, uh, then he will get angry, then he will lose his intelligence and he will do all nonsensical thing what he has to do. Sometimes he kill the people, he will remove the people from his life, or he will try to act very whimsically as per his wish, and it's all a destructive, negative thing which is happening and nothing positive out of it because he is unregulated. A man who has escaped these three gates of hell, the lust, greed, and anger, the son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and gradually attains the supreme destination. So this particular picture is of that. So we know that if we get attached to these senses are so strong. They say, please give me this, please give me gulab jamun. The tongue will say, I wanted to read this, I want to listen to such a music, I wanted to see these and all. So the senses are always distracted towards things which are not necessary. If we become a slave of this, then we can never think about the Lord. But if a person can overcome such feeling, then automatically he will take shelter of a spiritual master. There begins the spiritual practice. The actual spiritual master will guide him what is required for him to progress towards the bhakti and reach the supreme personality of the Godhead. So automatically he'll put you into systematic study of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, various other literature, and he will help you to follow the four regulative principles, help you in chanting and maintain all the austerities which is required to be in a sattva guna and progress further. And eventually, people will have a sense control, they have a spiritual knowledge of the Lord, and they don't waste even a second in any other mundane affairs and practice sincerely and go back to the Godhead. Freedom from all these elements will make one's existence pure, must follow the regulatory principles of human life laid down in the Vedas, gradually raise to the platform of spiritual realization and become successful. One must give up these lust, greed, and anger, and the self-realized devotion state liberation of the conditions soul is certain. Here, one more example is of the Duryodhana. Actually, as per rule, Pandavas are the one who has to So, the Hastinapur belongs to Pandava, but Duryodhana, when Pandavas went for the forest exile, he became so lusty towards the kingdom, He wanted to have it, and he don't want his brother to enjoy the kingdom and all. So, when Pandavas came back from the forest exile, he'll become angry because he was lusty towards the kingdom and he has to give that. He said, I don't want to give. and seeing only a very few strength or only the meager strength of Pandavas, he thought he can easily defeat these people and enjoy the kingdom and all. So likewise, he was not willing to give because they have asked only for one village, So, or a couple of village because they are the Kshatriyas, they know only the administration part. So he would have given. He said no, he don't want to give even those that. So he was very envious towards them and he don't want to give even small villages also. So likewise, his lust is he became angry when they were not when they asked for the villages and all that. Again, it has turned into the greed, and we had a Mahabharata war, isn't it? So this is one more example. So we should never get attached to the material things because ultimately it will take you to the downfall. Three gateways to the hell: lust, greed, and anger. या शास्त्राविधिम् उत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारता न स सिद्धिम् अवाप्नोति न सुखं न परं गतिम्. But he who discards spiritual injunctions and act according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destinations, Say suppose a student is there and a textbook is there. A curriculum is designed for a student to read particular chapters in a systematized way so that at the end of an academic year, they become perfect in those subjects and all. But if they act according to the whims and fantasies, they don't get an acquired knowledge which is required for him to clear an exam. Similarly, a person who don't follow the scriptural injunctions and work as per his vision will end up in the same way. Different castes and orders are given in different Shastra Vidhis. Everyone is expected to follow these rules. Just now we have read from the Srimad Bhagavatam. What are the rules and regulations one has to follow as per the four dharmas, four varnas, and so which are required for that particular varna to attain perfection in his life. One not applying this knowledge is the lowest of the mankind. Even if one follows that but fail to understand the Supreme Lord, all in a vain. So these rules and regulations are meant to discipline a person to follow that path and help them to attain the Supreme at the end. So ultimately and ideally, we should follow that. So on accepting the existence of the God, he must engage himself in the service of the Lord. Raising to the devotion service in Krishna consciousness, one is sure to attain the highest perfection stage. So whatever Prabhupada purpose are written in his textbooks, if we follow that, every day is a new learning, I'll say. So, and he's such a great spiritual master who has given us the treasure of all this Shastra Nidhi. By following that, definitely we'll all will be benefited. So we'll make a habit of reading Gita and Bhagavatam every day so that some knowledge will come and whatever illusions, whatever misconceptions we have, that will be eliminated and help us to regulate our life and progress further in the bhakti. Kamakarata is a person who knows, who knowingly violates the rules, again acts in a lust. Again, the Duryodhana is an example, Ravanasura is an example. Such whimsical persons are condemned by the Lord and ultimately they'll be killed. They do not have any perfection needed for the human life. So their existence is not purified and cannot attain the real happiness. They will be killed. Again, they have to take the rebirth. तस्मात् शास्त्रं प्रमाणं ते कार्याव्यवस्थितौ ज्ञात्वा शास्त्र विधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुम् अर्हसि. One who understands what is duty and what is not the duty by the regulations of the scriptures, knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. So slowly also it's okay, but we should know the rules and regulations and follow it and try to implement in our day-to-day activity to progress further in the bhakti. Okay. All rules and regulations of Krishna, of the Vedas are meant for knowing about the Krishna And the understanding Krishna and engaging devotion service elevate ones to the highest perfection of knowledge in the Vedas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this process very easy by asking people to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, to engage in the devotion service of the Lord. So eat the remnant of the foodstuff which have been offered to the Lord as a prasadam. So people not in Krishna conscious, not engaged in devotion service must refer to the Vedic injunctions and act accordingly without any argument. Okay, so if some are not able to follow this, they can follow what is exactly written in the literature. So this is following up the Shastras or the scriptures. Shastras does not have the four principal defects visible in the conditioned soul, and imperfect senses, propensity to cheat and commit mistakes are been illusion, hence are accepted by all great saints, acharyas and great souls. Fallen in human society is due to aversion of principle. See, basically, there are certain rules and regulations which has to be followed to have a regulated life. We have to follow that, okay, by taking shelter of spiritual master. If not that, follow the books which are being prescribed for us. In that, it will help us. If you are not following that, automatically there is a chance that one will fall down and again has to take a rebirth in this material life. Yeah, people who are there in the mode of ignorance, definitely they are envious towards the Lord. The more envious, the more distant they will become, and the more they will not follow the regulation, the more they will not read the scriptures. So they'll stay away from all those things. Ultimately, they have to come back here and complete their cycle. So similarly, the people who are there in the ignorance or a demonic quality will be far, far away from the passion people. Again, they'll go back to the lower planets. Again, they have to start from there, come back to the human life. But they may come, they may not come. Okay, so once given a lifetime opportunity of becoming a human being, we should condition our soul or prepare ourselves to know about the Lord and go back to the Godhead. So these are the verses we have discussed in the 16th chapter, transcendental and demonic qualities, the demonic nature, the choices, escaping to the supreme destination by practicing the rules and regulations laid down in the Vedic scriptures and taking shelter of the spiritual master, controlling our senses and staying away from the three vices, that is lust, greed and anger, and regulated our mind by chanting so that it will help us to stay disciplined in progression of Krishna consciousness, which will ultimately help us to progress further in the bhakti and take us to our home, that is back to Godhead. Okay, Hare Krishna. This is all about 16th chapter. Hare Krishna. I hope all of you are doing quiz.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Any difficulties in doing the quiz and all?
No, Mataji. By studying little bit, we can understand, and I will give other quizzes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So any doubts or any realization anybody wanted to share?
Mataji, I'm so used to classes on Monday and Tuesday. From now onwards only, I'm feeling bad that, 2 more chapters are left. What will happen after that on Monday, Tuesday?
Some arrangement by Krishna will be made, Mataji. Don't worry. Otherwise, you can ping me personally.
Okay, Mataji. Mataji, when will level 3 start?
After this, I think Shashank Prabhu will be able to tell you properly. I don't have any idea of track of all these things. Shashank Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I too don't have any information related to level 3. As soon as I'll receive any information from any senior devotee, I'll make sure that I'll deliver it to everyone.
Yes, I think another 2 weeks we'll be completing the course of level 2. And Level 3, you'll have a presentations, most probably, on the certain topics will be given from Bhagavad Gita, and you have to make a small presentation as per your capacity and present it in among your peers. And you will have a Bhakti Vriksha study groups where you can read scriptures regularly. Apart from your classes day, one more day is allocated for that, and you can read. So it will be even more interesting. So, and I think apart from Bhagavad Gita, you will also be taught NOB, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, and Ishopan.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
While chanting, as I am started, when level 2 classes was there, I started to 2 rounds, 4 rounds, 6 rounds like that. Now I am doing 16 rounds, Mataji. While doing chanting, last means after 16 rounds, the mind will become calmness, Mataji, and the vibrations it will be in our mind. And when I will sleep, I will in the sleep I will also do like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Why that it will happen, Mataji? Means is there any um, suggestion? Can Mataji?
Actually, this is a level 2 class. No, in level 1 kids class, there is one PPT, where there is like ego concept. So garbage in will give you garbage out. Okay.
Yes,
And
Mataji.
good out. So we are giving in good input. So our output is also good. So that is one example what you are saying.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other doubts or any realizations anybody wanted to share? Okay. Fine. If there are no more doubts or anything, we'll conclude for today, and we'll meet on next Monday. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Thank you, co-host and participants, for your active participation. See you all on next Monday at 7 p.m. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Hare